Allow yourself to really tune into your body as you flow through the practice. Working to within your own areas. Moving to where it feels comfortable for you. And the breath will be a companion as we go through our practice tonight. So if it's in your practice to do so, maybe introducing Ujjayi breathing or Ujjayi breath. This can be a breathing in through the nose, circulating at the back of the throat. Breathing out through the nose, circulating at the back of the throat. So it sounds like ocean's breath, or breathing with sound. If it's not in your practice to do so, just trying to work into the rhythm of your breath. Equal in-breath, equal out-breath. Breathing in towards the belly, the chest, the lungs, pushing out into the legs. Maybe now we could activate through the hands, so reach the fingers away towards the top of the mat, really active in your arms. Feel that lengthening coming down the forearm, through the biceps and the triceps, towards the shoulder and the armpits. Breathing here, watch where your breath goes when you change the movement of your body. Trying to keep the hips where they were, just activating through the upper body. Breathing. And then as you breathe out, take the right hand off towards the right side of the mat. Move the body and the left hand over to the right side so that you're taking a bend in child's pose towards the right. If you wish to intensify this pose, lift the left hand up, place it on top of the right. Pushing that left hand on top of the right, creating more tension down the left-hand side of the body. Breathing here. If you want to intensify it again, looking towards the left, as if to look under the left arm. Your breath might fill the left side of the body because it's constricted on the right next to your thigh. Breathing here into the intercostal muscles and the ribs. When you next breathe in, releasing the hands, taking yourself back to the center. Taking an extra breath here, then breathing out, taking the left hand off towards the left side of the mat. Right hand follows, and the body. Breathing here, maybe lifting that right hand on top of the left. Again, breathing here, maybe looking under that right arm, just to increase that tension through the right. Right side of the body is facing away, left side is being compressed into the left thigh. As you next breathe in, come back to center. So bringing yourself back into the center. We're going to lift ourselves up towards a kneeling position. Don't come too high though, so just lift the body up, lift the forehead up. Just taking a nice breath when you get here. We're going to thread the needle in Balasana, so we're doing thread the needle in child's pose. So take the right hand and just kind of twist it gently towards the back of the mat, out towards the left. And then take that left hand under the right, so you're swooping it through underneath the right hand, reaching it towards the right side. Come down onto the left shoulder. Push or take that right hand and just gently push it into the mat. You can hold here, maybe pushing into that right hand so that you push your spine towards the left. Again, you might feel the left side of the body pushing into the left thigh. If you want to, you can also reach that right hand towards the top of the mat, creating a bit more of a balance. And just holding here, breathing into this space. Try and see if you can allow the lower half of the body, or the knees, pelvis, ankles, to sink into the floor, taking more of the weight into that shoulder. So we're tapping into the heart meridian and the small intestine, the meridian energies for summer. They run up and down the length of the arm, in towards the chest or in towards the eye. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing that right hand close towards the face. Push into the right palm, down into the ground. Slowly unfurl or uncurl that left arm. Reach it up to the sky. Just a small twist. Bringing the hands back down onto the mat. We're going to move to the right side. So reach the right hand up. Take that right hand down and under, sweeping it under the body so that the right shoulder comes down onto the mat. The right palm is facing the ceiling. Again, with your left hand, maybe moving it towards the edge of the mat, pushing the spine back towards the right, or pushing your body into the right thigh. Hold here, see how this feels for you. Or walk that hand, reaching it to the top of the mat so that we're stretching and lengthening down both arms. Holding here. Again, trying to see if you can allow the weight of the body to sink down into the mat. Maybe using the in-breath to bring the attention to those areas, the out-breath to release. This one's just for you, Marcus. I'm going to make you sit still for at least 5 breaths. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking that left hand back towards the face, push down into the mat. Uncurl or unfurl that right arm, reaching it up to the sky. Small twist. From here, we're going to move on to all fours. So lifting yourself up to tabletop or all fours. Wrists and hands underneath shoulders. Knees about as wide as the hips, maybe a little wider. Everyone's slightly different. Find where's comfortable for you. We're going to do just a few rotations. Don't need to go too far with this, but take the hips back towards the heels. Come out over to the left. Take the weight over the wrists, coming round to the right. Just doing some small movements to begin with. Get used to the weight of your body coming into the wrists. Maybe we can link this back to our breath as well. So breathing in as we come forwards. Breathing out as we go back. Closing your eyes if you wish, bringing the attention to the shoulder joints, hip joints, knees, wrists, ankles. The positioning of your head will change how this feels. So you could look forwards, or you could look down towards the mat. It'll change the feeling across the spine, shoulders, and tailbone. Take it in the opposite direction. So start going out towards the right first, over the wrists to the left. Maybe making it more animalistic now that you've got used to the movement. So an undulation of the spine, twisting into the spine as you move side to side. Maybe taking more weight over the wrist, moving closer towards the hips. Just do what feels nice. We're just in our warm-up stage just now. So we just want to get a feel for the body. These movements can be telltale or give you some telltale signs of where you might be holding on to tension or where you're just not feeling as strong. But it can also then give you the idea of where you feel good in your body, where you might be able to work a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger as we come to our main flow. Slowly start to come back to all fours. We're going to do a little cat-cow just to wake up the spine properly. So we're going to do it where we breathe out. We're going to tuck the chin in towards the chest, tuck the tailbone in towards the body, push the hands down into the mat, pushing the spine away. We're doing this as we breathe out. We'll take a couple of breaths here just to feel the hold. As you next breathe in, push the tailbone away, lift the head towards the horizon, maybe pulling the shoulder blades together. Breathing in for cow, breathing out with your own breath, undulating through the spine. Push the spine up towards the sky, protract the shoulders apart, push the hands down into the floor. Breathing in for cow, push the tailbone away, undulation of the spine, eyes towards the horizon. Back into cat as you breathe out, pushing into the hands, tucking the chin in, tucking the tailbone in. Doing this in your own time, going as deep as feels good for your body. Linking it with the breath, using the whole breath as you breathe out, coming into cat. The whole breath as you breathe in, slowly moving into cow. I have to really stop saying moving into cow. It seems to have become a habit with me as I do cat, cow. Breathing here. Doing it with your breath. Few more. It should feel good on the spine. It's a kind of spinal flossing as part of what we call it. We're moving the liquid about. We're activating the nerve endings. We're just making the spine feel really good. It is the highway of information that comes from the top of the body out to every other part of the body. Finishing in a neutral spine. We're going to come down onto our bellies. So maybe come down onto your forearm first. Reach away with one leg. Reach away with the other. Lower the pelvis down. We're going to come to Sphinx pose. So it's become a kind of favorite of mine, Sphinx and Cobra. I did have the name of Sphinx pose, but it's a lot bigger than just saying Sphinx pose. Salamba Bhajuganasana. So I'll just settle for Sphinx pose at the moment. I haven't quite figured it out completely. So we've got the palms pushing down into the floor, forearms pushing down into the floor and the mat. Our arms are about as wide as our shoulders. Now mine are slightly wider because I have a really bony forearm and I need to not be on the bone that runs down from the elbow, or one of the two that run down from the elbow. So find where's comfortable for you. Pull the belly in. Make sure your legs are completely deactivated, let's say. So softness in the legs. We're going to use our back strength to lift us up here. Push down into the hands and the forearms. Pull the belly button in. Activate through the shoulders first. So feel like you're pulling the shoulder blades together, pulling them backwards. So your collarbones at the front of the body open. Then feel like you're pulling your body through the space, taking the eyes towards the horizon. Holding here, we're doing an extension with the lower back, almost a back bend. For 3, 2, and 1. Soften the belly back down, soften into the shoulders. Let the head hang loose. It can just look down towards the floor. Make sure you're not holding any tension in the legs. We're going to go again for 5 breaths. So push down into the hands and the forearms, all the way to the elbows. Pull the belly button in. Feel like you're pulling your body through that space. Pull the shoulder blades back and together. Take the eyes towards the horizon. Chest rises for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let the head soften slightly. Neck releases, shoulders release, belly releases. So as we're breathing there, you've got an option for the last one. You might wish to introduce mermaid's tail, where you lift your feet or your heels towards your bum. The more you squeeze the heels towards your hips, shall we say, or your buttocks, the more you'll stretch into the quad muscles. So it can be quite relaxed. It could be a high mermaid tail, or it could be a close to the heels, close to the bum mermaid tail. This will, the closer you are to your bum, the more pressure there will be on the lower spine. So just find where's comfortable for you, or keep the feet on the floor. So we'll set up the upper body first. We're pushing down into the hands and the forearms. Pull the belly button in. Pull the shoulder blades together, lifting the head towards the horizon, chest rises. Then maybe introducing the feet, pulling them up, going to where's comfortable for you. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the feet down. Let the elbows go out wide. Let your belly come down to the floor. You can, if you wish, take your hands into cactus off the edge of the mat. Turn your face to look towards the right. Really let the shoulders and the elbows soften into the floor. The whole body softens into the mat. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. If you're looking towards the right, turn your face to look towards the left, taking the cheek down onto the mat, so that we release both sides of the upper body, shoulders into the floor. Holding here for 3, or 2, and 1. Let's bring ourselves back towards a Sphinx pose. So once we come to Sphinx pose, keep your hands where they are, but activate your toes this time, activate your feet. So push into the toes, flexing into the toes, push the heels away so that your knees lift off, activate through the calves. Pull your belly in. We're going to lift the pelvis up to plank. So if you're not sure what we're going to do, just watch me lift up first, then you can join in. So push down into your hands and your forearms, activating the core, pull the belly button in towards the body. Lift yourself up. So push the weight down through your shoulders, activate right across the back, holding yourself here, pull the core in. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, lengthening from the crown of the head all the way to the heels, 2, and 1. Bring the knees down, bring the belly down. Let the elbows go out wide. Maybe just take your chin to the floor this time. Shaking into the hips, just side to side. Release off into the core. Breathing here. Okay, we're coming back to plank. This time we're going to do some toe tapping. So bringing yourself back onto your forearms, back towards Sphinx pose. Activate through the toes. Push the toes into the mat, flexing into the feet. Push the heels away so the knees lift off the floor. Lift yourself back up towards plank. When you're here, holding nice and strong, really try and activate kind of just around the armpit, so it feels like you're pushing away down into the floor with the elbows, right across the shoulders. We're going to lift the left toes off the floor, tap them down. Right toes off the floor, tap them down. Strong in your core, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right, down. Come down onto your knees, lower your belly and your pelvis. Let the elbows go out wide. Maybe take them right the way to cactus. So let the elbows, shoulders, chest sink into the floor. You can have your chin, or you can turn towards the left and the right. Breathing here. For 3, 2, 1. If you had your face in one direction, take it to the other. For 3, 2, and 1. From here, we're going to take ourselves up towards all fours. So take your hands underneath your shoulders. You can, if you really want to, flex into the toes and lift yourself up to high plank if you want to do a push-up. Otherwise, following me, taking yourself towards all fours, taking the knees a little closer. So from here, we're going to do some dolphin dogs. So I'll show you the first one before we come into it. So you take your hands and your forearms down as if you were doing Sphinx pose or forearm plank, but your bum is high, your knees are on the floor. You're going to push into your toes and you're going to lift your bum up like we're doing downward facing dog. And we're just going to pedal here. I say just. We're going to pedal here. Leave your head and neck soft. Release. Just let the forehead kind of come down towards the floor. It's not going to touch, but don't hold your neck looking towards your hands. Just let the head go. So just bringing yourself up. So if you want to follow me, from all fours, push the toes down into the floor. Have your hands and forearms pushing down into the mat. Lift the bum and the hips up. Pedaling into the feet, same as we would in downward facing dog. Again, bringing your attention to the foundation through the arms and the elbows. So bringing your attention there, then push around with your shoulders, a bit like we would do if we were doing cat. So rounding into the shoulders, nice and strong across the top of the back. Head and neck released, relaxed. For 3, 2, 1. Come down onto your knees. Pull the body up to all fours. Just release off here, breathing in a neutral spine. Just creating some length back into the forearms. We're not pushing any pressure down into them. Okay, we're going to go again for a dolphin dip, but we're going to see if we can just hold downward facing dolphin dog. So come back down onto the forearms. Push the toes into the mat, flexing into the feet, lifting the hips up. Let the head and neck release. Holding here, try to activate across your shoulders as if to lift your chest up and away. You might feel this pulling round about your armpit area if you're nice and strong across the shoulders. Let the head relax. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Come down onto the knees. Bring yourself back to all fours. If your arms are sore, just sit into your knees for just a second if your forearms are a bit sore. We're going to do it once more, where either you can hold dolphin dog, or you can do some 3-legged dolphin dogs. We'll do some leg raises. So I'll show you what that'll look like. We'll come up to our normal, it's normal as of this week, dolphin dog. Then we'll have the chance to lift the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down, we'll do the other side, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come down onto our knees. If you don't wish to lift the leg up, just hold a nice dolphin dog for the 10 breaths. Okay, so from where you are, take the forearms down. Push into the toes, lifting the hips up, dolphin dog. From here, lifting for 3-legged dog, dolphin dog with the left leg up towards the sky. Really having to focus into the foundation of the elbows, shoulders, arms for 3, 2, 1. Left leg comes down, lifting the right leg up. Again, working into the foundation, strong in that left leg for 3, 2, 1. Bringing the foot down. Come down onto your knees. Sit yourself up if you can, either sitting or stay on all fours. I know not everyone can kneel, but just hold here for a moment. Breathing here. We're going to go from this position, so either all fours or kneeling, to a proper downward facing dog. So take your hands down onto the floor. Push up from all fours, lift the hips, roll over on the toes, bringing yourself to a downward facing dog. So you're trying to push down into the fingers nice and wide, long through the arms and the spine. Softness in the knee. Maybe you want to pedal here. We only did a little bit of pedaling in our last dolphin dog. Do what feels nice for you here. Pulling in with the core. We're going to hold for 3, 2, move for 3, 2, and 1. Let's find a nice still downward facing dog. So we lower the heels towards the floor. They may or may not touch. Pull the core in, push the chest down between the arms, long through the arms, all the way to the fingers. Again here, don't hold any tension in the neck. Maybe just let the head drop a little. Look towards your toes or maybe between your knees. For 3, 2, and 1. Soften into the knees. We're going to step or jump our way to the top of the mat. So bringing your feet up in between your hands. Once you're there, have a half lift. Breathing in, head up. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in from here, we're going to take ourselves up to mountain pose. Soften into the knees. Reach the hands up nice and high. Taking the hands down by your side, Samastitihi. I was about to say Namastitihi. Holding there. So we're going to come into a couple of sun salutations. Excuse me, we'll have a little drink of water. So we're going to do sun salutation A, and we're going to do sun salutation B. So a really good full body warm up. I don't have my watch on tonight. I'm not even sure what time it is. Okay, 7:05. Okay, so we're going to do 2 sun salutations A and 2 sun salutations B. B has a few extra holds or moves, and we'll come to those as we come to them. So breathing in, feet touching or toes touching, heels slightly apart in Tadasana. Reaching the hands up towards the sky as you breathe in, mountain pose. Take an extra breath here, reach the hands away. Breathing out, pull the belly button in. We're going to forward fold down to the floor. So bending at the knees, allow your hands to come in contact with the mat. Breathing in, head up. Breathing out, step or jump back to plank. So maybe take one foot back, then the other. Maybe you can come down onto your knees for this first one. Lower down to the floor through chaturanga, chest comes down. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Roll over on the toes or follow me, come through with the knees, downward facing dog. We're going to hold downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in, step or jump to the top of the mat. Same breath in, lifting up to half lift. I usually have a sneaky extra one here. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in, rising up to mountain pose. Hands go high, reaching towards the sky. Taking in an extra breath here. Breathing out, pull the belly button in, diving down for forward fold. Again, fingertips touch the floor. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, plant the hands, step back to plank. Maybe the opposite foot steps back. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Maybe rolling over on the toes this time to downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in, step or jump your way to the top of the mat. Half lift here. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in all the way to mountain pose. Hands come high. Breathing out, Samastitihi, hands down by your sides. We're going to come to chair pose for this 3rd and 4th. So soften into the knees, feel the weight of your body in your heels as if you're coming to sit down, also known as fierce pose, Utkatanasana. Breathing in, reach the hands forwards. We're going to hold here for 3. Pull the core in, activate through the legs for 2. 1, as you next breathe out, fold forwards down to the mat. Breathing in for a half lift. Breathing out, step back to plank, maybe the opposite foot. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes, downward facing dog. This time we're going to step to warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. So the left toes point out towards the left edge of the mat, stepping the right foot through to the top. Push down into both feet, lifting the hands up, reaching them up to the sky. Virabhadrasana 1. Holding here for 3, 2, coming back to that breath. 1, as you breathe out, sweeping the hands back down to the floor, planting them into the mat. Stepping the right foot back to plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Roll over on the toes, downward facing dog. This time the right toes point out towards the right slightly. Left foot steps up to the top of the mat in between your hands. Push down into both feet, reaching the hands up, Virabhadrasana 1 on the other side. Sinking in here, feel the back right heel push down into the mat. That's where your stability comes from for 2. And 1, breathing out, sweeping the hands down to the floor. Planting the hands, step the left foot back to plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes this time to downward facing dog for 5 breaths. Using downward facing dog to bring some calmness back into the breath and the body. Remember, you can soften into the knees, take any of the pressure off the back of the legs. Pull the core in, stretch away with the fingers for 2. And 1, breathing in, step or jump your feet back up in between your hands. Half lift. Breathing in. Breathing out, folding forwards. Coming back to chair pose to close. So lower the bum and the hips. Feel the weight in your heels. Reach the hands back to chair pose, Utkatasana. For 3, 2, 1, coming to standing, hands by your side, Samastitihi. 1 more time. We'll go through the sun salutation B. Definitely building up a little bit of heat here. Back into chair pose. So feel the weight in your heels. Toes can be touching. Sitting down into the pose. Feeling the weight here. Pull the core in. Reach the hands forwards. Chair pose for 3, 2, and 1. As you breathe out, fold forwards down to the mat. Breathing in, head up. Breathing out, plant the hands, step back to plank. Last time, maybe opposite leg. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Roll over on the toes, downward facing dog. Left toes turn out to the left slightly. Right foot steps to the top of the mat in between your hands. Lift yourself up for warrior 1. Again, feel the left heel pushing down into the floor, bending into the right knee, feeling that stretch all the way down the back of the body for 2. And 1, breathing out, sweep the hands down to the floor. Plant the hands, step the right foot back to plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes, downward facing dog. Right toes turn out to the right slightly. Left foot steps up to the top of the mat in between your hands. Push down into the foundation, lifting the arms up, reaching them up to the sky. Again, push down into the right heel. Slowly lower into the left knee for 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, sweeping the hands down to the floor. Step the left foot back to plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes, downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in, step or jump your way to the top of the mat. Hands, feet between your hands. Half lift, nice deep breath in here. Breathing out, folding forwards. Breathing in, rising back up to mountain. Oh, back into chair pose, dear me. Into chair pose, squeeze the thighs together, sitting the weight down into the heels for 3, 2, 1, rising up, hands down by your side, Samastiti heat. Okay, definitely built up a little bit of heat. So we're going to work into a triangle pose or Trikonasana, Utthita Trikonasana, working towards Warrior 2 and Prasarita Padottanasana A and B today, so wide leg forward fold. So we'll build up to that through a ladder run. So we'll take the short flow first, and then we'll add on a couple of extra poses every time we go through it. And rather than stepping back to Chaturanga, when we do a half lift after forward fold, we're going to step back with the left foot nice and long. Let the left heel drop, lift ourselves up to Warrior 2. And we'll do a couple of bits here, just for the first run. Okay. Actually, we'll step back with the right foot first. I think that would be better, because I can face the camera that way. So breathing in, reach the hands up towards the sky, mountain pose, nice and long here. Take an extra deep breath in. Breathing out, pull the belly button in. We've done this a few times. Maybe you can dive for longer and slower down towards a forward fold. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, push the hands down into the floor, bend into the left knee, push into the left foot. Lift the right foot in towards the body like a flamingo, stepping the left toes back towards the mat. Allow that right foot steps back, right foot steps back. Allow that right heel to turn. Lift yourself up to Warrior 2. So just making some minor adjustments here. Your left fingers, left toes are pointing to the top of the mat. Your right fingers are reaching to the bottom of the mat. Right pinky is in line, or right pinky side of the foot is in line with the short edge of the bottom of the mat. Sinking into your Warrior 2. Space between your shoulders and your ears. Holding here, looking towards the middle finger of the left hand. Trying to hold a nice, strong, or confident Warrior 2. If your legs get sore, you can straighten into that front leg slightly. Try and keep your weight in the center so it's equal pressure in both legs. We're only going to hold for another 2. And 1, we're going to bend into that left arm, taking the left elbow or forearm down towards the left knee, reaching the right hand up and over, Parshvottanasana, side angle bend. If it's in your practice to do so, you can take that left hand to the floor. Otherwise, follow me, holding onto softly pushing into the knee for 3, 2, 1, use your leg strength. Take the arms back to Warrior 2. We're going to go to a peaceful warrior. Drop the right hand to the right thigh, reaching the left hand up towards the sky. Holding here for 3, 2, 1, keeping the legs where they are, flowing the arms back to Warrior 2. We're going to sweep the right hand all the way to the top of the mat, windmilling it. As you do that, you'll swivel on the right toes, hands come to the mat. From here, step back to plank. Hips go high, downward facing dog. Holding downward facing dog for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lift that right leg up and away behind, so 3-legged dog. Just reaching the toes away, holding into the hands and the foot for 2. And 1, we're going to step that right foot to the top of the mat. So pull the knee in towards the belly and the chest, stepping it down in between your hands. From here, we're going to lift up to crescent lunge. So pushing into both feet, lift your hands up nice and wide, crescent lunge. Holding crescent lunge for 3, 2, you can always soften into that back left knee, just giving yourself a bit more stability. Legs are like concrete. 2, and 1. Reach both hands towards the top of the mat. So we're going to take the opposite twist. So instead of Warrior 2, we're taking Archer's pose. So keep the left hand where it is, but twist and reach the right hand to the bottom of the mat. Squeeze the inner thighs together, look towards the right. Archer's pose. So it's taking the opposite twist to Warrior 2. Really good for the legs. Opens up through the chest, heart and small intestine, meridian energies for 3, 2, 1. Reaching the right hand back towards the top of the mat. Breathing out, fold forwards. Take the hands down to the floor for runner's lunge. I think I said last week it was Utthita Ashwan Sanchalanasana. Or I think somebody sent me the song clip of tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. So holding here, feel nice and strong, runner's lunge for another 2 and 1. We're going to step the left leg to the top of the mat, same as we came out into the pose at the start. So lean into the hands, push down into the right foot, pull that left knee in towards the belly and the chest like a flamingo, stepping the left foot down beside the right. Take a nice gulp of air here, half lift. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in, rising up to mountain pose. Hands come down by your side, Samastitihi. Taking a little breath here before we do the other side. So we'll step back with the left foot this time. We started with the right last time. Breathing in, sweeping the hands up towards the sky, mountain pose. Breathing out, pull the belly button in, diving down, forward fold towards the ground. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out this time, push down into the right foot, soften into the right knee. Hold your balance here, lift the left leg in towards the body like a flamingo. Step the toes out, let the left toes touch. Turn the left heel towards the right. Lift yourself up to warrior 2. So again, just adjusting your foundation. Right toes, right fingers point to the top of the mat, sinking into the right knee. Left fingers reaching to the bottom of the mat. Left pinky toe on the foot in line with the short edge of the bottom of the mat. Space between your shoulders and your ears, reaching the hands away. Looking at the middle finger of that front right hand, that's your drishti or focus. Come back to your breath. Nice and deep, equal breaths. Maybe your jaya breathing if it's in your practice. If it feels heavy in one leg than the other, maybe adjust your upper body. If you lean too far forward, all your weight is in that right foot. If you lean too far back, you'll feel it in your hips. You're finding that middle balance for 2 and 1. Bending into the right elbow, taking the right elbow and forearm down to the right knee. Reaching the left hand up and over, Parshvottanasana, side angle bend. Holding here, almost a straight line from the left fingers all the way down to the left pinky. For 3. Actually, I think we held it longer on the other side, so we'll say from 3, 2, 1. Use your leg strength. Bring yourself back to warrior 2. Holding here for just a second, strong in the foundation. Drop the left hand onto the left thigh, reaching the right hand up towards the sky. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Take yourself back to warrior 2. We're going to windmill, sweeping that left hand up and over. Swivel onto the left toes. Hands come down to the mat, runner's lunge. Stepping the right foot back towards plank. Push the hips high, downward facing dog. Holding downward facing dog for 3, for 2. Allow your breath. Down dog's a really good opportunity to bring some calmness to the breath. For those that enjoy downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to 3-legged dog on the left side. So reach the left leg up towards the sky, reaching it away from the body. You don't have to go too high, just hold where's comfortable. Balance through the right foot, both hands. Left leg reaches away for 2. 1, we're going to pull the left knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back as we step it down in between our hands. So you're in runner's lunge here, so just find your foundation, feel strong in both feet, pushing down into the big toes in particular. Once you feel strong, reach yourself up for crescent lunge, reaching the hands up towards the sky. If you need to, remember you can come down into that back right knee just a little. Legs are concrete, good foundations. We're holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Reach both hands towards the top of the mat. This time we're going to keep the right hand where it is. We're going to sweep the left hand round, facing it towards the bottom of the mat. We're doing an archer's pose twist. Squeeze the inner thighs together, looking towards the left, or maybe looking to that left thumb that's trailing away. Opening through the heart space, pull the shoulder blades together. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Sweeping that left hand back towards the front. Breathing out, take yourself down to runner's lunge. So use your hands, your fingers to hold yourself here. We're going to take a few breaths here. Utthita Ashwan Sanchalanasana. For 2 and 1. We're going to step that right foot towards the top of the mat. So push down into the left foot, lean towards the top of the mat. Take the weight into the upper body. Pull the right knee in towards the chest like a flamingo. Stepping the right foot down beside the left, slow and controlled. Breathing in here for a half lift. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in all the way to mountain pose, taking the hands high. Letting your hands come down by your side, Samastitihi. Okay. Whew. So we're going to go through the same, same flow again, except we're going to have a extended triangle pose. And then from triangle pose, we'll go through the warrior 2 flow. And then we will do some drops or some lunges when we're doing the crescent lunge. So bringing the knees down towards the floor. Remember, there's no rush to go through this. So trying to connect with your breath. I will also try and slow down our transitions between each of the poses as we go through it. So from here, breathing in, reaching the hands up to mountain pose. Pull the belly button in, flowing forwards through all the way down to the mat. Breathing in, head up. Breathing out this time, we're leaning into both hands, lean into the left leg, lifting the right foot in towards the body. Stepping the right foot back, letting the heel of that right foot drop, lifting yourself up to warrior 2. Sinking into the pose here, warrior 2 for 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, straighten into that front left leg. Reach the hands up towards the sky. It's like we're coming to a star pose. Keep the legs where they are, but as you breathe out, take the hands back, reaching them away. Maybe have a little softness in that left knee. We're going to come to an extended triangle. So push the right hip towards the back of the mat, reaching the left hands towards the front of the mat. Take your hand down, maybe onto the knee first, maybe the shin, maybe the ankle. Find somewhere where you can hold onto your body, reaching the right hand up towards the sky. Holding here, maybe you're looking towards the right, maybe you're looking up towards the right thumb. Wherever you are, holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Look down at that left toe. Soften into the left knee, bending into it. Lift yourself up to warrior 2. Use your leg strength. Holding here in warrior 2. Bending into that left forearm, taking the left forearm to the left knee. Reaching the right hand up and over. Holding here, or if it's in your practice to do so, taking the left hand down to the floor, Parshvottanasana. Holding for another 3, 2, 1. Use your leg strength. Lift yourself back up to warrior 2. Well done. Drop the right hand onto the right thigh, reaching the hands up here. Holding. Left hand up to the sky, right hand tracing down the back leg for 3, 2, 1. Well done. Taking the hands back to warrior 2. We're going to windmill that right hand up and over, swiveling onto the right foot, taking it to the top of the mat. Runner's lunge. Finding your balance here, leaning into both hands, stepping that left foot back to plank, taking the hips high, downward facing dog. Holding downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Three-legged dog, reaching the foot out behind, holding here. Maybe this time you want to take the leg a little higher. Make sure it doesn't affect your balance or your foundation. Holding for 2 and 1. Pulling the knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back, stepping that foot to the top of the mat. Holding here in runner's lunge, work into your foundation. We're going to lift up to crescent lunge. Push down into both big toes, reaching yourself up here. Holding here, maybe a softness in that back knee. Before we come to our twisted archer pose, we're going to do some lunges or crescent lunge. Keep the hands reaching up to the sky. See if you can lower the body down in between both legs. Back knee comes down just a little, rising up. Coming down just a little, rising up. Your knee doesn't need to go to the floor, taking yourself down, rising up. 2 more, working into your balance. Pull the core in, down for 2, and up, down for 1, and up. Really working the legs tonight. Reach the hands towards the top of the mat. We're going to sweep that right hand away, looking towards the right, archer's twist. Holding here for 3. Squeeze the inner thighs together, 2, and 1. Taking that right hand back to the top of the mat. Breathing out, let's fold forwards, runner's lunge. Breathing here for 3. Getting ourselves ready to step that left foot forward, 2, and 1. So lean towards the top of the mat. So take the body weight forward, push down into the right foot. Lift and squeeze that left foot in towards your body. Stepping the left foot down beside the right. Take a nice half lift here, breathing in. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in, rising up to mountain pose. Breathing out, hands down by your side, Samastiti. Okay, we're going for 1 more run on the opposite side this time. So just taking a breath here, readjusting your foundation, spreading through the toes. Mountain pose, breathing in, reach the hands up. Breathing out, pull the belly button in, diving forwards. Breathing in, head up. Breathing out this time, lean into both hands, push down into the right foot. We're going to squeeze the left foot in like flamingo. Stepping the left foot back, toes touch into the mat. Letting the left heel swivel and touch. Lift yourself up to warrior 2 on the opposite side. Again, adjusting into your foundation. Right fingers, right toes pointing to the top of the mat. Left fingers, left toes pointing to the bottom of the mat. Sinking into the pose here. Holding here, finding your breath. Working on that balance, not leaning too far forward, not leaning too far back. Confident in the foundation of your legs for 3. Space between the shoulders. In the neck for 2. And 1. From here, we're going to reach up to star pose. I nearly forgot. Reaching the hands up to star. Straightening into that front right leg. Bringing a little softness back into the right leg. Bringing the hands back, reaching them away. Push the left hip towards the back of the mat. Reach the right fingers forwards to the top of the mat. Bringing that right hand maybe onto the knee to begin with. Sliding it down the shin, maybe to the ankle. Find where you can hold, where you can reach the left hand up to the sky. Looking towards the left, Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. Or maybe looking up to the left thumb. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Looking down towards the floor, softness in that right knee, bringing it back to warrior 2, using your leg strength to bring you back. Breathing here for just a second. Bending into that right forearm, right elbow, touching it down onto the right knee, or taking your hands all the way to the floor, reaching the left hand up and over, Parshvottanasana, side angle bend. Holding here, where's comfortable for you, feeling that stretch through both sides of the body. For 3, for 2, and 1. Use your leg strength, lift yourself back up. Sinking into your warrior 2, we're going to drop the left hand onto the left thigh, reach the right hand up towards the sky. Breathing, holding here. For 3, for 2, and 1. Bringing the hands back to warrior 2. We're going to sweep that left hand up and over, swivel on the left foot. Hands come to runner's lunge. From runner's lunge, we're going to step the left foot back to plank. Hips go high, downward facing dog. Holding downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Left foot goes out behind this time, 3-legged dog, reaching the toes away. Maybe you want to take it a little higher, as if the toes are reaching more towards the ceiling. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Pulling that left knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back, stepping that left foot down in between the front of the mat, in between the hands. Work into your foundation here. So again, pushing down into both feet, specifically down into the big toes. When you feel strong, reach yourself up here for crescent lunge. Once your hands are reaching up towards the sky, maybe soften into that back leg just a little. Okay, we're going to drop and do some crescent lunges. So we're bringing the right knee down towards the floor just a little bit, rising back up. We're trying to sink in between both the feet. We're not going forwards, we're not going backwards, we're going down and up. 3 more, down and up. 2 more, down and up. Wobbling is good. Last one, down and up. Whew. Reaching the hands towards the top of the mat. We're going to keep the right hand where it is, but we're going to open up wide through archer's twist. Sinking into both knees maybe, opening through the chest, pull the shoulder blades together. Reaching away here. For 3, 2, and 1. Taking the hands back towards the top of the mat. As we breathe out, fold down into runner's lunge. Breathing here, so holding here for a few breaths. Getting ready to step that right foot forward. Maybe leaning a bit more towards the top of the mat, taking the weight into the left foot, both hands. As we breathe, pull the knee in right knee in towards the belly and the chest, stepping it down beside the left. Take a half lift here. Breathing out, fold forwards. Breathing in, rising up to mountain pose. Breathing out, hands down by your side, Samastitihi. Okay, don't worry, we're coming down for Shavasana. So we're going to come down and do melting heart pose, and then we're going to have a few minutes in Shavasana. So we're going to go through sun salutation A. Instead of going from upward facing dog to downward facing dog, we will go to all fours. So breathing in, reach the hands up. Breathing out, pull the belly button in, folding forwards. Breathing in, head up. Breathing out, step one foot, then the other foot back to plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Come down onto the knees to all fours. You might find yourself towards the middle of the mat. Knees are roughly underneath your hips, hands are underneath your shoulders. First option for melting heart pose is to come down onto your forearms. Don't worry, we're not doing anything horrible here. Your hands can kind of create a tripod or triangle, so your hands touch, your elbows stick out slightly. Your bum and hips stay where they are. You're bringing your forehead down to the ground. This would be the first stage in puppy pose or melting heart pose. If you're not really feeling any stretch across the chest or compression into the shoulders, you might be able to reach your hands towards the top of the mat, creating a kind of V shape with your arms, bringing your forehead down. Let the forearms also come down onto the mat. From here, if you're still really not feeling anything, you could take your forehead off, look towards the top of the mat, bringing your chin or your chest down to the floor. This will definitely create tension in the chest and armpit area, and maybe compression in between the shoulder blades at the top of the back. If that's uncomfortable, bringing back the forehead. We're going to be here for a minute. Trying to let go of any tension. If you're holding it and it's causing you tension where you're starting to shake, or there's pins and needles, or build up of muscle pain, bring yourself down a level, bend into the elbows if you need to. Bring the hands back closer to the head. When you're there, then let yourself sink again. We want to open up into the heart meridian, but we don't want to cause any stress. We're allowing the pose to bring our breath down. Calm. Calming into the mind and the body through the breath. 3 more deep breaths. And then from there, if your arms are reaching away, bringing them back towards the body, holding yourself in your forearms, pushing down into the palms of the hands, bring yourself back up to all fours. Oh, have a little breath here. We're coming down into Shavasana, or seated concentration, or working towards meditation. So do what you think is right for you tonight. If you're coming down into Shavasana, just bring yourself down onto your bum. Spin yourself around, make yourself comfy, bringing yourself down onto the mat. There is no right way for Shavasana, or there's no particular way. It's about what's right for your body to allow your practice to sink in. We don't want to hold any tension into the ankles, the knees, hips, elbows, wrists, shoulders. So just taking a moment to find the pose that allows you to, I'll use the terminology, switch off. So you don't have to hold yourself here. A few moments of quiet. Allow your breath to be normal. Slowly bring yourself back into the space, back into the feelings of the body. Maybe deepening the breath before introducing movement into fingers and toes. And then doing what feels good for you. So curling into a ball, rolling to one side or the other, stretching out. Do what feels good for these last few moments of your practice. And then in your own time, in your own way, if you wish to close your practice with me, bringing yourself back towards a seated position. Comfortable seat for you. We're going to close tonight's class chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace be with you, go in peace. If you wish to join me, it's in your practice to do so, bringing your hands towards your heart center. Maybe into prayer, maybe finding your heartbeat, placing your hands over your heart. Taking a nice breath in towards the belly and the lungs. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for joining me on your Thursday night seasonal flow. It was definitely